What if a country built camps to imprison its own people, not because of what they did, but because of who they were? It sounds like something from another part of the world, another time in history. But this happened in the United States. In 1941, everything changed after the Pearl Harbor attack. Fear spread rapidly across the country. There was panic, uncertainty, and a growing suspicion toward Japanese Americans. Many believed, without evidence, that they could be a threat, and soon the government took action. In 1942, an order was signed that would change thousands of lives. It was called Executive Order 9066. This order allowed the forced relocation of over 120,000 people of Japanese ancestry. But here's the part many don't realize. Nearly 2/3 of them were American citizens. They weren't spies. They weren't criminals. They were families, workers, children, people living ordinary lives until one day they were told to leave everything behind. Homes, businesses, belongings. In some cases they had only days to prepare. What they couldn't carry was often sold or simply abandoned, and then they were sent away to isolated camps in remote areas of the country, surrounded by barbed wire, guarded by armed soldiers. These places were called relocation centers. But in reality they were detention camps. Life inside wasn't easy. Families lived in small barracks, with little privacy. Extreme weather conditions, hot summers, freezing winters, basic facilities, shared bathrooms, long food lines. And through it all, a constant reminder: they were not free. Children tried to continue school. Adults tried to maintain some sense of normal life. But the feeling never went away. They were being held, without trial, without charges, without proof, all based on fear and suspicion. For years this continued. Even as the war progressed, even as no evidence of widespread espionage emerged, the camps remained. Families waited, uncertain about their future. When the war finally ended, they were released. But returning home was not easy. Many found their properties gone, their businesses destroyed, their lives completely disrupted. They had to rebuild from almost nothing. And for a long time, this chapter of history was rarely talked about. It stayed in the background, overshadowed by other events. But decades later, the truth began to be acknowledged. In 1988, the U.S. government formally apologized. It admitted that the internment was not based on military necessity, but on prejudice, fear, and a failure of leadership. Survivors were offered compensation, but for many, no amount could truly make up for what was lost. This wasn't just about camps. It was about rights, freedom, and how quickly they can be taken away. Today these events are remembered as a warning, a reminder that even in a democracy, fear can lead to decisions that change lives forever. And that history, no matter how uncomfortable, should never be forgotten.